asymmetric encryption, DDoS attack, data breaches. No wonder you want nothing to do with cybersecurity. But here's the secret, that's not what it looks like for normal people. I know it seems complex, it was the same for me when I started with cybersecurity. I read many articles, I watched many videos, and all of them seemed so complex. Look, for tech companies, cybersecurity is rocket science, but for you, it honestly comes down to basic habits. It's like locking your front door or looking both ways before crossing the street. Once you get this down, you are already safer than 90% of people online. And make sure to stay until the end, because I'm going to show you exactly what happens to your data if you ignore this, and how easy it is for someone to take over your digital life. I know you may think I don't need cybersecurity, I just want to go online, but please stop for a minute and follow me, because many people lose thousands of bucks because they thought the same way. When you learn to drive, what is the first thing you learn? How to accelerate? No, it's how to brake, because you can lose your life or hurt others badly if you don't know how to brake. Now, 90% of people online are like they are driving without knowing how to brake, because they don't know how to stay safe online. Think about physical security. It isn't one thing, it is a set of layers, each covering different parts of your life. Personal safety, for example, is knowing how to protect yourself. Public safety is like the police, the system that kick in when something goes wrong. Or building security is like locks, alarms, access card, or transport safety. Think about seatbelts, speed limits, or knowing how to brake. You deal with all of them every day without thinking about it. When they are working, you don't notice them at all. Well, cybersecurity is built in the exactly same way. Same layers, same logic, but different tools. Once you see the map, the whole thing starts to make sense. Now, cybersecurity is usually divided into 4 main categories. You don't need to understand everything, of course, but it's nice to know that they exist. The first one is defensive security, also called the blue team, if you have heard about it. Think of them as the lock on your door, or the alarm on your house, or the security guard at the gate. All rolled into one. These are the people building the defensive, watching for everything unusual, and stopping attacks before they spread. When they do their job well, you don't notice them at all. You just log into your bank account and everything works fine without leaking. Every time nothing goes wrong online, it's because someone on the blue team made that possible and they worked well. But to know if your logs actually work, you need to test them, right? And that's where offensive security or the red teams come in. Imagine hiring a professional to break into your own house, of course legally, just to find the weak spots before a real criminal goes in. That's what the red team does. Their entire job is to think like an attacker, find the gaps and report them so they can be fixed before a real criminal comes in. They don't create the problems, they find the ones that are already there, that they already exist. Now you have the blue team, the red team, they work well, but you can have the best guards in the world and the best logs, but without the rules, it means nothing. This third part is called Governance, Risk and Compliance, G.R.C. Think of it like building codes for a skyscraper. Fire exits and emergency rules exist because someone calculated the risk, right? G.R.C. is that layer in cybersecurity. It's not about writing code, it's about writing the rules that make possible for cybersecurity to work well. A company can have great tech defenses, but still fail because one bad management decision. G.R.C. is what stops that. So now you know these 3 main categories, and if you want to find a job inside cybersecurity, you need to know it. but for normal people they are not so important. But there is one final category that connects all of this together, and is the most important one for you and for everyone: the security awareness, or the human factor. You see, buying all this tech but ignoring the human element is like buying a car, watching the safety test, learn the rules of driving, but never learning how to brake, as we said. All the tech means nothing if you don't know how to stop. Sooner or later, you will crash and hurt someone or lose your life. Security awareness is like learning how to brake for your life online. Most breaches don't start with a genius hacker. Hackers usually they don't need to go against the defenses of a company or of a person. They just usually target the brain, the emotion of a person. That's why the human layer is the #1 target in cybersecurity. But it's also the one that you can control completely. In fact, nearly 90% of successful cyber attacks start with simple human mistakes. By just learning the basic, you are effectively cutting off the hacker's favorite way in. You don't need a budget for that, you just need to know what to look for. Okay, now you learn all the aspects of cybersecurity, but no single one is enough on its own. A lock with no alarm, an alarm with no response plan, a plan nobody's ever tested, it means nothing. Real security, physical or digital, works by making the attacker's job harder every step. The goal was never an impenetrable wall, it's enough layers that get into steps being worth the effort. You don't need to understand all of it, of course, as we said, you just need to know it exists and start with the layer you already control. Your layers, the human factor. That's the map, 4 layers just like the real world. It's not so difficult, right? If this made sense to you, subscribe to the channel to support us. There is a lot more coming, and it gets much more practical from here. Also drop a comment, what do you think about cybersecurity? Did you know it was so important? Let us know what you think. So, see ya in the next video. Ciao!